Beaux-arts welcomes the exhibition Love is Louder. A range of artists explores the many facets of love, its tensions and its questions. In this ideal world, love wins and is always stronger. To explore love in all of its forms, several personalities have engaged in dialogue with the Beaux-arts audience. We have gathered the best moments so that you can enjoy them under your headphones. Ghayath Almadhoun, a leading voice in contemporary Arab poetry, transforms poetry into an act of justice and resistance. Through his work, this Palestinian-Syrian poet and filmmaker confronts themes of violence, exile, and the loss of homeland.
In general, I love to write poetry. I really enjoy it. And the only thing I want to be a poet. I consider myself organic intellectual, as Gramsci say. So in that mean that I'm a realistic and I'm not isolated from reality. So when I write about my life. There is something wrong in my life. Here where I can be sure about. Because art is a reflection, yes? For our memories, experience, and lives, and like this. And when I do reflect my life in my literature, it's considered to be political. But it's not political poetry, it's my life. I'm not against political, because I am really from the people who believe political is included in everything, in the class, in gender, in everything, in a feminism fight, in everything that is political. So I'm not taking myself outside that, but also I want to put the attention on that there is something wrong in our life when the Belgian poets reflect their lives. They reflect nature and cities and urban and depression and darkness in the winter, I don't know what. It's all began when I was a teenager. I was planning to write love poem for a lady I like. Yeah, it's true. Like it's all began as a joke. And then like with the time you find yourself writing more, and then you find that there's some people became your friends because of that, and then you find people hate you. Yeah, and then you have enemies, and and then you are involved. And here we are, but the intention was really to write a love poem, and the intention now is to write love a poem. And every poem I write is a love poem. But my life is different. They ended with different shapes and metaphors and dead metaphors and yeah. And people sometimes they told me a lot that how I speak about war. I don't speak about war. I don't remember. When was the last time I speak about war? I don't want to exaggerate also. Many of poets decided to see the things from different angles. And Western poets, they edit their poem. They took anything political inside them, and some of the poets became very professional. They have this self-censorship that immediately they make editing, and they write these poems that we can read in the New Yorker or like this, where it didn't touch anything in any place in the planet. It didn't put the finger on the wound and like this, and everyone celebrating them and like this. And this is how should be the poetry. There's nothing. And this is how you do it. This is how it's like domesticate the poets everywhere, because it's so bad and low quality to have anything connected to political things. Everyone have his own wars, inner wars, like all of us in this life. We are in a battle, and we have happiness, we have genuine feelings. Like if I think about Palestine and Syria, yes, I lost both. But what that mean? Do I really lost them? I inherited the first exile from my father as a Palestinian, and then I choose my own exile because I don't want to be under the control of dictatorship. in Syria, and I left in 2008. They are very problematic. Like Syria was, until now, it's really, really not understandable. I arrived to Sweden in 2008. I was dreaming of seeing Syrian. Like if they told me there is a Syrian person in Paris, I was traveling to Paris to meet him. And I asked the God to have more Syrian. I meant that me going back to Syria, I think the God misunderstand me. Instead of I'm going back to Syria, he sent for me millions, like literally millions. Like in Germany, there's 1 million Syrian arrived, not a joke. So it's so confusing. I left whole country in Syria, and now either they are dead and the country is destroyed, so I have it only in my memory and the other memories, or if they are not dead, they are in Europe and surrounded me, and it's really confusing, like to see, like I don't know how to describe it.
For a good reason for you to stay in Berlin.
No, but sometimes it's have a funny guilt, because what if this happened because the God want to let me meet the Syrians? Because I was really longing for, for Palestine is totally, it's totally different. I was in the Beaux-arts, or evening with Ghassan Zaqtan and Asma Azaize, 2016. The end of April, I think 28th or 29th of April 2016. On the 8th of May, I went to Palestine, 9 days after my event in Beaux-arts. And that was the first time. I got a call and say that you became Swedish. I should be Swedish long time ago and to be able to see my grandmother. But because I was documentless, paperless, they granted me the Swedish citizen, but they refused to give it to me until I prove my identity. Even if I came with a visa to Sweden in 2008, because I was translated into Swedish for Poetry Festival, but because of democracy, there is a separation between organization, and because the Palestinian Authority passport is not accepted as a passport, so I was for 4 years waiting extra to prove my identity. Then the court decided that, okay, my identity is clear because I'm known poet. This is what they say, thank God. So I got a call, they'd say that I became Swedish. I say, I did, already done, I can have the passport. They say, yes, you can go and to the police and take it now if you pay extra. I close the telephone, I open Skyscanner, I order a ticket to Palestine immediately. That's how I went. Like, it take less than a second, because I thought it is the right of return. This, at the moment, I wait for a long time ago. Okay, let's begin with the first level. The first level is the happiness. You are going to Palestine, the right of return. You are so happy. Like, I can't describe my happiness. And then the second one is to discover, it's a very sad, melancholy feeling. Discover that you are not going to Palestine. This is not the right of return. And the people who will let you in is an Israeli. They decided either you in or not, and you came here only because you are a European citizen, fit their standards. So here is really disappointed. But you could handle that. And then the third one is the most problematic thing, is the guilt. You grow up in a refugee camp where everyone dreaming of going to Palestine, and they have all these myths about Palestine as a paradise. And they dream about it every single moment. It is a real like dream. And suddenly, you are able to go there where your father, who thrown twice outside Palestine, your brothers, your cousins, your friends, everyone you left in the refugee camp. In every refugee camp, we are 16 million Palestinians. They never even have it as a dream to go there. So bad the guilt, to the level that I never spoke with my father until September last year, where I mentioned my visit to Palestine. It takes years. It takes from 2016 to 2023 until I was able to speak a little and fast in a shy way and avoid it. It's really problematic. So the combination of these two things, the Israeli flag everywhere, your land, where you are not allowed to speak about it, because in the best scenario case, you're allowed to speak about Gaza and West Bank, but I'm from Ashkelon. My house is there, like. It's, yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but like, me speaking as a Palestinian, I also represent a lot of the Palestinian, and we are not victims. Clearly, that anyone know, the Palestinian people know that we are not in the victimhood. And it's not about what happened to us. That is not. It's related to many questions. That discussion I can speak about, why we are not in the victimhood and who is and who's not. Like, look to the Algerian, like France killed 1.5 million in the 60s. Sometimes they ask France to say sorry, but they are not like the Armenian, with respect for the Armenian, of course. So it's like there's different. And my thought, this is my thought, that people who came from big empires, they never been in the victimhood. Like the Romans, like the Persian, like the Arabs. You know, the Arabic Empire was from Spain to China for 1,000 years, 3 times bigger than the Roman Empire. So these people who came from empire, they never feel the victimhood. This is my theory, but I don't know. It could be other details, but we never felt as a victim as a Palestinian. We are very proud people, and we will liberate Palestine. You know that. I'm not saying we are not victims. We don't play the card of victimhood. You understand me?
Of course.
But yes, we are victims of history, and fuck history. هل تؤمنين بدمشق من النظرة الأولى؟ حين كنا في سوريا كنا نحلم بالعودة إلى فلسطين. الآن صرنا نحلم بالعودة إلى سوريا لكي نستطيع أن نكمل حلم العودة إلى فلسطين. هل تؤمنين بالبيت الذي وجد مقتولاً والبنايات التي تسقط على القنابل والبلاد المسروقة؟ هل تؤمنين بقذائف الهاون التي تتساقط في الحلم والمخيم الذي يأتي على شكل ديجافو والنكبة التي تنام بجانبنا في السرير؟ هل تؤمنين برائحة القهوة التي تختلط بغاز السارين والشرفات التي اختنقت والمدن التي تنام في غرف العناية المشددة؟ هل تؤمنين بعادية الشر والحنين الذي ينظر من النافذة والبيوت التي هاجرت وتركتنا خلفها؟ هل تؤمنين بأول الحب وآخر العمر الذي يمضي وانتحار الذكريات؟ هل تؤمنين باشتياق المسافات التي بيننا للسرير وأطفالنا الذين لم يولدوا والليل الذي ينام في منتصف النهار؟ هل تؤمنين بالشعر دون أن تسقط الكلمات في البئر والفرح دون أن يأكلنا الذنب وفلسطين؟ هل تؤمنين بالحياة بعد دمشق؟ What I like about Palestinian literature, that it is, and I mean it, it's have high quality. I wish people able to read Arabic and enjoy these young writers all over the world. They are genuine. They don't play the victimhood. They are honest. They are liars, of course, like every writer, but let's say not they lie less, but they hide the truth in better way.
Yeah.
because they became professional after all these years of occupation. And because of the diaspora, because we got the apple in 1948. You know the apple? Of course you not, because it's my thought. So I was fascinated by how the Jewish were in the diaspora, moving like a nomad, like a Bedouin on the map. And this enigma opened the eyes to them, longing, and they having this thing and moving. They have it for thousands of years, moving. They have it. And I call it the apple because I don't know what to give it, which name. I always felt that I have effect on people. I'm speaking at least in the Arabic world, that my poetry it's touched the people because it came from where we share the things, the genuine things we share. So I'm honest to a level, but also in the same time, I can always see my poetry from the outsider perspective. So I always put myself here and I go out and look to you and me here sitting and see it. I think one of the most genuine things about being poet is to be able to describe the things you are fearing and the things that people try to avoid, and to be able not to say the truth to the power, but at least to point to the direction where is you think that people are not looking to. I wish I will be able to enjoy writing poetry forever. I love writing poetry, and I love when the poetry is having another window translated into other languages, because the translation, as you know, it's rewriting. So it's there's something new alive on it. But also I'm scared from being poet because it takes a lot of my energy. We have millions of poets, and our history is long. Our empire was big and lead the world for 1 million years, for like exaggerating 1 million years, but it's like at least 1,000 years we were like the leaders of the world. In that time, we have a lot of poetry, and there is something unique we have different than other language, that in Islam, you must pray in Arabic. So if you are Indonesian Muslim, Chinese, Indian, Malaysian, or Nigerian, you must pray in Arabic, not like Christianity or other language. So the need to read the Quran. So our language didn't change in the last 1,500 years, because if we change our language, we will not be able to pray and read the Quran. And because that I can read any text from 1,500 years, I don't know if it's written now or then, only from the contents. And because that we have the access to huge amount of heritage of literature. And I really mean it, hundreds of thousands of poets. And sometimes, and I assure you, we have poets more than any nation on the planet, but sometimes I go to festivals and I ask you, oh, so you have poet in Arabic? And I say to them, you know what I answer? Poetry? No, we don't.
You have listened to a podcast from the Beaux-arts Love is Louder collection, an exhibition that questions love in all its forms. Find the entire collection with Edouard Louis, Ovidie, or Stefan Hertmann on the Beaux-arts website and on the best platforms.